it's nice then that if, you know, you might have fallen into meditation and so you were on this kind of flow, and then you heard about Ojai, which may have appeared like a fluctuation, which the mindfulness then can also take into consideration and then into the flow again. So it does become a wonderful experience. The problem with that is then that next time we go to meditate, then we want to have that experience again. And we have to learn that that is impossible. So the beautiful thing is that we then let that go. And even while we're having the experience, we're letting it go. And it's the same thing with every experience in life. We're letting it go. While we're having the experience, we're letting it go. And in this way, the mind becomes fresh, it becomes clear. That light shines. And you see your path. You see that's the guiding light that you are for yourself. So beautiful, so powerful. Thank you, Nilhan, for your unprompted comment. You know the routine. When we come out of meditation, let's do a comment. Nurhan, thank you, said, from Nilhan to Nurhan, Han is spiritual light, isn't it?
Nur is...
Nur is, yes.
Divine light, actually. The meaning of divine light. Han means sultan.
Means what? Sultan?
Sultan, like, no.
Okay.
How can I explain? I don't know.
Emperor, king.
Emperor of the light, like Emperor of the light, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay,
and
thank you.
Nilhan is my sister's name, by the way.
Yes.
And from Nilhan to Nurhan.
Yes, nice, lovely.
Yes.
Thank you. So during the meditation, I realized the rushing mind causing tension in some areas of my body, and now can feel the movement of releasing in those areas. Always powerful and amazing experiences. Amazing experiences I live in your sessions, my dear Jeff. Thank you. So grateful. Thank you, Nurhan and Nilhan. Any other friends have something to share today? Any little experience, any little comment, you know, whatever you write down here is useful. It gives me something to reflect on, something to comment on. Otherwise, I have to make it all up by myself, and, you know, it's not that easy. So you're helping me out when you do make a comment or write something. If you don't feel so comfortable in writing, you could unmute and say something if you need to. Just keep it short and to the point, and preferably with a good internet connection. That's why I avoid opening up to chit chat and comments verbally, because quite often people don't have good internet connection. Not that I always do, but then it's just difficult to listen to, and some people get it and some people don't. So yeah. Not a lot of stuff flowing through the chat box at the moment. Come on, friends, don't be shy. Ali Baha, I feel free, joy, peace, tranquility, love. I am glowing. I feel flying. Yeah. Thank you for reminding. I am grateful, loving you unconditionally. Thank you, dear Ali Baha. Beautiful. Yeah. And, we were experiencing many of these things before we went into the meditation, but we weren't aware of them. So, largely what a meditation will do, especially this freestyle meditation, and in fact, that's the fundamental basis of it, is to just see what is already present. It's not to make those experiences, but to see what is already there. Or what happens is when the mind does calm down, it does focus on something, anything that is present, then we start to see things as they really are. It brings out that true nature, that true quality of anything. So it's really quite simple. It's really, it's nature itself. And this is something that we should all have been taught to do at school, is to be calm, be still, feel something that is happening in the present moment, even if it's just the breath, or even if it's a pain, even if it's just watching thoughts passing through the mind. This is all part of our true nature. Um, so Robert said, I live some days with deep fear. In meditation, it was not there. There are many other times of your day, Robert, where that fear simply isn't there. Most of it is when we are distracted. And that's why the human population get addicted to distractions. Anything that takes our attention away from our fear, away from our problems, away from our sufferings, we become addicted to. So we become addicted to entertainments, we become addicted to foods, we become addicted to drugs and alcohol, we become addicted to sex, we become addicted to music and movies. And now we're addicted to our phones, we're addicted to games and gambling and other such things. Anything that takes us away from our human experience, we're happy to do that. Not us here in this group, but as human beings. We're playing an escape game. How can I run away from myself? How can I distract myself from my fear, from my suffering, from my problems, from my stress? That's the first thing people do, isn't it? When they're stressed, they say, oh, especially in Australia, oh, I'm going to the pub. Go to the pub and have a beer. Why are they going to the pub and having a beer? Did they ever stop and ask? Did they really investigate themselves? Of course they didn't. They just live in this mode their whole life of just distracting themselves, covering things up. It's a shame because in those truths, in those experiences are the truth. And in those truths, when we expose them, the mind becomes light and bright. We become strong. We don't need to distract ourselves anymore. You become closer and closer to your own reality. You become more full with your own light. You become not only an island for yourself, but a rock, even a mountain. You're like this massive, massive mountain. You can do this yourself naturally. Claire Chua said, I find it a challenge to not strive in my meditation. I know, Claire, that's exactly what I've been taught to do. And I did it for many years and I was bloody good at it. But that was my ego meditating. I was meditating with my ego. I was striving to get something. It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. That ego also and that effort led me into many deep experiences. I can't say that it's bad or wrong. My teacher wasn't wrong. He was right. But there is another way. And another way is more gentle, more allowing, more just switching on the awareness and asking, what's happening now? And again, my mind goes straight to my butt. I mean, sitting here for 2 hours, I get a tension in my butt or my hip. That's not what I want. I don't want to. I don't want to say, oh, what's happening in my mind now. Of course, I want to have a lovely experience. I want to feel, the wind blowing, or listen to the rain on the roof, or maybe go into spiritual light. But that's not what happens. My mind goes to my butt. There's numbness in my left hip, my butt. Okay, that's my object of awareness. Without striving, without pushing, without forcing, that's what I come to experience. Can I accept that? Can I be with that? Can I allow that to be my reality? Can I see it? Can I see the spiritual light, consciousness, pure energy in my butt? I know it sounds weird, but, but it's in your butt and it's everywhere. So sorry, you continued to say, but I see this as a practice in itself. This is my present truth. That's so beautiful. Sorry, I didn't finish reading that. I knew there was going to be a happy ending, but I just want to read that again. I find it a challenge to not strive in my meditation practice, but I see this as a practice in itself. Yes, that's it. Where we used to strive in the meditation, now we see how we used to strive. We see that habit to strive and we watch that. That becomes the object of your awareness and that becomes your present truth. This is beautiful. Well done. Congratulations. And this is what sets the mind free. It's the truth, not the truth, but the wisdom, the understanding the truth is what sets the mind free. Tammy Tam said, when I just joined, I found myself having a lot of energy until the body went into meditation mode. But during meditation, wanting was there. But it's okay. Exactly, it's okay. Everything's okay. If you're agitated, it's okay. If you want something in meditation, it's also okay. But if you can see it, that means you're understanding it. That's what the practice is about. It turns out everything is okay. And I mean everything. Even things that you would say that you shouldn't do in meditation, like, having a sexual fantasy or, thinking about, food or something like that. Things that you would think are like, bomb, bomb, like, no, 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 you don't do that. When you become aware of it, the awareness, that's the practice. We become aware of it and then maybe apply a little bit of um, a little bit of wisdom and investigate. What is this? How do I feel about this? How does the mind react to this? What is the reality in this experience? And then the mind becomes more at rest, more at ease. And then sometimes we just flow back to the breath. Sometimes the mind becomes quiet. Sometimes it makes more thoughts. Okay, watch that. Thank you, Tammy. That's great. And Fatih said, um, it is a fresh air in my busy daily routine. Fantastic. A strong shortcut to my inner space, which is actually already calm. Fantastic, man. You know what's going on. That's great. And Nisa said, I felt very subtle moves in my body. It was interesting, like my legs were breathing and then my hands. Also, I was a bit in and out of sleep and judged myself about it and then accepted it and peace arose. How beautiful. That acceptance was also forgiveness. I was almost going to use the word forgiveness during the meditation because when we find ourselves, in your case, falling asleep a little bit, or we find ourselves thinking again, then it's easy to judge ourselves. Can we transform the energy of judgment into the energy of forgiveness? Can we see the old habit and the programming of judging, criticizing, blaming ourselves, and then turn that energy into forgiveness? How do we do it? We understand, well, this is just passing. Or, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't do it intentionally. That's how the mind works. This is what I love about my teacher, Sayadaw U Tejaniya. He just says, that's how the mind works. When a thought comes in, he goes, that's how the mind works. That's what the mind does. Or he just says, so what? So what? There's a thought. So what? I fell asleep. So what? I lost my place. We're in meditation. So what? I started listening to the music outside. So what? Who's the boss? Who's judging? Who's criticizing? Is it just me doing it to myself? What's that for? What am I going to do with that? That's just making more suffering. This practice is to become free, not to create more suffering. Thanks a lot, Nisa. And Ainur said, I want to share my thoughts on today's topic. To reach the light within us, we must first clear attachments and discover our own truth. I think it is not possible otherwise. Yeah, thank you, Ainur. That's exactly right. And that's what mindfulness meditation is doing. It's seeing what's already here. It may not be pleasant, it may not be what you want or what you like, but you see you see the truth. When you see the truth, behind that, or sorry, within that, is your spiritual light, is this this pure light. It's already there. All we're doing is we're not removing the clouds away from the light. We're seeing that it is the clouds that's covering up the light. And then when we realize these clouds are not necessary, these clouds are not, sometimes we even realize these are not even my clouds. I didn't make these clouds. I didn't ask for these clouds. Where'd these clouds come from anyway? And sometimes when we ask even these questions, sometimes that's the process that clears the clouds. What that means is we're moving from ignorance, which is the clouds, to wisdom, which is free from the clouds. So even by investigating and asking wise questions about these clouds, the things that are covering up the mind, covering up the light, by investigating them, we're activating our own wisdom. This is what changes the mind. Thank you. Costa said, Prince Siddhartha had to step out of his privileged conditions and experience the suffering to start his journey towards enlightenment. Does it always take stepping into the darkness to become aware of the light? Going out of the comfort zone to become aware of the comfort? And the opposite, does it require to experience brief moments of enlightenment to realize that we are almost always suffering? A duality question. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty much like that. What we're doing is we're seeing both sides. When we see our darkness or our suffering, our negativities, and we understand that. So we're not saying don't have those. Actually, it's good that we have those because then we investigate into them and we find the truth in them. And that's what makes the brightness on the other side. That also illuminates the mind more clear. So remember our duality, this world of, this human world is a world of yin and yang. What is yin and yang? It's light and dark. It's the positive and negative. It's the black and the white, the opposites. What's enlightenment? Enlightenment is something in between those two. It's neither the light nor the dark. It's the middle way. It's the middle path. And that's where the freedom comes. But we have to see the dark, we have to see the light. When we know both, we know what's in between. We find the middle way. And again, we fall into that. You can't force yourself to have that middle way experience. By seeing this and seeing that, you understand what it is that lies in between. Thank you, Costa. I love that. Nilhan, waiting for hearing about boundaries. Yes, good. Thank you, Nilhan, for the reminder. And I hadn't forgotten it. I'll just finish off with a few of these um, questions. Susan shared, knowing is light, popped up with clarity. It's sharp, while at Meta, mind was equanimous, sharing, expansive, yet stayed knowing in stillness. How beautiful, lovely. Mm. The knowing is the light that popped up with clarity. Yeah, beautiful. And Tammy said, thank you for the clarification. I might gotta go soon. That's okay. You can gotta go. Got to do what we got to do. And Patrick said, thank you, Jeff. Wishing you all well. Every cloud has a silver lining. Thank you, Patrick, in your absence. So let me move on to the topic of boundaries, because this is something that I find particularly comes up for women, and quite often spiritual